All right, and speaking of tools, let me show you something that I was working on last weekend. I have here a robotic gripper that I downloaded, the model I downloaded from the Thingiverse. I 3D printed it, I put it together with some screws, and then I attached the servo motor. And the servo motor I am controlling with an Arduino board. With that Arduino board, I can turn the gripper on and off, but also I have connected the Arduino board to the robot, so that now the flex pendant, here I can tap and close the gripper, and I can tap here and open the gripper again. All right. The technical details of how the code that is running on the Arduino and how to set up the connection between the Arduino and the robot are not important for these videos, but if you're interested in knowing how to do that, then you can check my other video in the description of this one. But what's important is that now that the gripper and the Arduino and everything are connected to the robot, not only can I control it with the flex pendant, but I can also control it with my code. I can create actions to tell the robot to open and close the grippers using what are called the IOs of the robot. The robot has inputs and has outputs. The robot can actuate stuff, turn on and off things, and can also read data from sensors and from other things, right? Outputs make things move and change. Inputs read sensor data from the environment of the robot, right? So, and also inputs and outputs are of two different kinds. They're either digital, which means things that can only have two states, either on and off, either true or false, you name it, or analog. Analog are inputs or outputs that have a gradient of values, so from 0 to whatever. So this gripper here is going to be an output because we're moving it, and it's going to be a digital one because it only has two states. If we had a light sensor in the robot, it will be an input because we're reading data from the sensor, and it will be analog because we would want a spectrum of values from that sensor, all right? So the robot has both digital inputs, digital outputs, analog inputs, and analog outputs, right? And it has many pins for each one of them, so you can connect multiple sensors and multiple actuators. For this robot, for this setup and this gripper, right now I have it connected to the digital output number 0 of the robot, all right? If you're familiar with Arduino programming, this is probably very analog, very similar to the things that you're used to. But what's important is that now that the gripper is connected to the digital output number 0, I can control it with Machina as well. Because there is an action that is called write digital, which basically sends a value to a digital output of the robot. So if I go here and I say write digital, I open parentheses, I type the pin number that I want to change, in this case is 0, because of the setup that I did here, and then a Boolean value to signify whether if I want true or false, on or off, right? So I'm going to type here true, no double quotes because it's a Boolean value, and then I close parentheses, semicolon, and when I hit enter, the grippers close. If I do the opposite, if I write digital false, then you can see that the grippers open. So a tiny program to pick something up, I could say, well, I'm going to speed to 50, semicolon, I'm going to control enter to create a new line. Then I'm going to move down 0, 0, minus 100, control enter. I'm going to wait 1 second, so 1,000 milliseconds, just to make sure that the robot reached there before picking anything up. We don't want to rush with those things. Control enter. Then I'm going to write digital 0 true to grip. Control enter. I'm going to wait another 1 second to make sure that there's been enough time to close the gripper, right? And then I'm going to move up 0, 0, positive 100. Control enter. I'm going to expand this thing, and then I'm going to now wait another second to make sure I reach there, and I'm going to drop whatever I picked up by write digital 0 false. And I think this is like a nice program. Let's see if it works. I'm going to go down, wait for 1 second, grip, another 1 second, go up, wait 1 second, and open. Voila. This is tool use. This is IOs.